Let's write a C program to find first and second biggest element in an array. So we will take an array of A of 5 and two variables F big and S big, meaning first big and second big. Now we assign A of 0 and A of 1 to F big and S big. Note that we need to assign the biggest number in A of 0 and A of 1 to F big and the second biggest to S big. Okay. So once that's done, we start comparing it with the other elements one by one. So inside the for loop, we check if the value present inside F big is less than any of these elements. If that's true, then the previous first big will be transferred to the second big, and then the biggest number in the array will be transferred to F big. Or else we check if that element, the new element fetched from the array, is greater than second big. If that's true, assign that value to second big. If you didn't understand anything in this, don't worry at all. I'll explain it once again. Okay. Now I'll take A of n. N is macro, by the way. I'll define that shortly. So F big, S big. Let me define the macro n and let me assign phi to it. I'll ask the user to enter %d integer numbers. And the value is present inside macro template n. So I'll iterate from I to n minus 1 or I less than n. Okay, that is 5 times 0 to 4. Scanf. For each iteration, user will be prompted to enter a integer number. 5 times, by the way. Now observe here very carefully. We need to initialize F big and S big because we need to compare these two things with something, right? So we need to initialize it to some value. If we assign 0 0 to it, what if user enters negative values? It will yield wrong results. So I'll assign the values present inside the array itself to these variables F big and S big, but make sure to assign the biggest number to F big and the second biggest number among A of 0 and A of 2 to second big. Okay, so for that, let me check which is the biggest in A of 0 and A of 1. The biggest will be assigned to F big and the second biggest among A of 0 and A of 1 will be assigned to A of that is second big. Okay, so I'll check if A of 0 is greater than A of 1. If A of 0 is greater than A of 1, then I'll assign A of 0 to first big and then A of 1 to second big. Or else, if else condition is being executed, that means A of 1 is biggest. In that case, I'll assign A of 1 to F big and A of 0 to S big. So now, assuming we only have two elements in this array, the biggest will be assigned to F big and the second biggest will be assigned to S big. Okay, that's it. I'll explain this logic once again if you didn't get this, or else I'll just remove this code and use ternary operator. Okay, so I'll write the syntax first. Now if this condition, this is where we write the condition. If it's true, the block of code here gets executed. If this condition is false, then the block of code here gets executed. Okay, so let me write the same condition. A of 0 is greater than A of 1. Okay, in that case, A of 0 must be assigned to F big, right, according to the logic. And you can have comma here. S big is equal to A of 1. So let me bring this else block here. So if A of 0 is greater than A of 1 is false, then this condition, this set of code gets executed. So F big is equal to A of 1 and S big is equal to A of 0. Now if we consider the array has only two elements, that is A of 0 and A of 1, F big will have the biggest of that and S big will have the second biggest of that array. Okay, now let me write for loop. Since we have already assigned A of 1 and A of 0 to F big and S big, the comparison should start from the third element, that is A of 2. So we initialize I to 2 and iterate this for loop until I is less than n. And for each iteration of this for loop, we increment the value of I by 1. Now let's check the condition. If any of that array variable, that is a of I, is greater than f big, in that case, first thing is transfer the previous first big to second big, because it will be second big now, right? Now transfer the new element which is bigger than f big to f big. Else if the number is not greater than f big but it is greater than s big, second biggest, in that case assign that value to s big. Very simple and straightforward. Don't overthink about it. I'll explain it once again. So outside this for loop, I'll print the result onto the console window. I'll just write first big colon the result, that is %d/n, second big colon %d/n. The results are present inside variables f big and s big. Before explaining it once again, let me just check the compile and run this program and check for the result. I'll enter 5 integer numbers, 5 2 6 3. Okay, that's working. So let me copy this whole thing and paste it here. Now n is 5, suppose, and you assume that user enters a of 5. I'll write a of 5 directly now. Let's eliminate some confusions here. Let me replace this n with 5 too, because this is just an example. Okay, I'll assume that user enters 2 4 5 6, or instead of 6 I'll have 7 here and 9. Okay, 5 elements 0 to 4. Now observe here very carefully. Now the first line of code, that is the ternary operator. Now we need to know a of 0 and a of 1 because we need that for our ternary operation. So what is a of 0 in this a of 5 array? Okay, if you said 2, then you are right. So a of 0 is equal to, index starts from 0 in any array in C program. So a of 1 is 4. Please go very slowly, follow along what I am teaching you here. So now let's check this code. A of 0, which is 2, is greater than a of 1. 2 is greater than 4, which is false. 2 is not greater than 4. So the code here won't get executed. Okay, the code present here gets executed now. So in that case, f big is equal to a of 1, which is 4. So f big will have 4, and then s big is equal to a of 0. What is a of 0? A of 0 is 2. So from now the for loop gets executed. So what's the initial value of I now? So I is 2 because a of 0 and a of 1 has been sorted out already. So the comparison should start from a of 2 now. That makes sense. Even if you start comparing from a of 0, it won't give any error. It will give correct results, but you will be comparing 2 times unnecessarily. Okay, so start from 2, a of 2. So a of 2 is 5, right? So now check this condition. 2 is less than 5. Yes, the for loop executes. Check if f big is less than a of I. What is f big? F big is 4. 4 is less than 5. Yes, true. So these 2 lines of code gets executed. So let me write the variable names. S big is equal to, let me give this number later on. So f big. So what is s big? The previous value of f big. So that is 4. Now f big is equal to a of I. A of I is 5. That's it. Now increment the value of I by 1. So I is 3 now. Please follow along in the same pace I'm going through. Okay, so now a of 3, what is a of 3? It's 7, 0, 1, 2 and 3, so it's 7. Now the value of I is 3, right? 3 is less than 5, the condition is true. So check this condition now. F big is less than a of I. What is f big? F big is 5. F big is 5. A of I is 7. So again f big is less than a of I. So these two lines of code gets executed. So we need to reassign the values for s big and f big. So s big is previously whatever is present inside f big, which is 5. Now f big is equal to a of I, which is 7. Now increment the value of I by 1. So I is 4 now. So what is the value of a of 4? 4 is less than 5, right? So now a of 4 is 9. 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So a of 4 is 9. Now f big, this is true, so f big is less than a of I. F big is 7. 7 less than 9. Yes, that's true. So these two lines of code gets executed. So s big and f big again gets new values. So what's the new value of s big? Whatever is previously present inside f big, right? So f big is 7, so assign it to s big. Now a of I should be assigned to f big. A of I is 9. Now increment the value of I by 1. So I is equal to 5. Now the for loop condition 5 is less than 5, which is not true. So the control exits this for loop. Now at the end, what's the value of f big and s big? So f big is 9 and s big is 7. So first big is 9 and second big is 7 in this array, which has 2, 4, 5, 7 and 9. So let's check that. So I'll give 2, 4, 5, 7 and 9. So first big is 9 and second big is 7. So our logic is working correctly. But I think this else part never got executed with our example. So let me add one more element to the array and make sure this else block gets executed so that I could explain that to you. So I'll make it if a of 6, n is 6. I'll give something which is less than f big and greater than s big now, which is 8. Okay, less than 9 and greater than 7. So now a of 5. What is a of 5? A of 5 is new number here, which is 8. Okay, so now the condition, change the condition here. I is less than 6, n is 6 now. So I is less than 6. Yes, the condition is true. Now f big less than a of 5. What is f big? 9. What is a of I? A of I is 8. So 9 is not less than 8. So this condition is false. Now check the else part. S big is less than a of I. S big is 7. S big 7 is less than 8. Yes, true. So now this line of code gets executed. That is S big is equal to a of I. A of I is 8. The new value entered by the user. So now I is 6. Increment the value of I by 1. 6 is less than 6. The condition is false. Control exits the for loop. Now f big is 9. S big is 8. Okay, so let us check that out. Let me make this n as 6 as well. So let me enter the same array elements 2, 4, 5, 7, 9 and 8. So f big is 9 and second big is 8. The same thing. Okay, so that's how we find first big and second big of array elements. Okay, simple logic. Please go through it step by step and you will understand it. It's very easy program, don't overcomplicate it. Okay, so please visit the link present in the description section of this YouTube video for source code, notes and discussion about this topic. Stay subscribed to our YouTube channel and blog. Please share this video with your friends on WhatsApp, Telegram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And please do not forget to like this video on YouTube. Thank you.